This whole painting is about the wind farm on Mountain Road. And, it looks nice and countrified right now, but if you went up the street now, you'd see about probably 50 houses that are that have been where the land has been sold, and there's some built all the houses. And that's about. I'll just start like that.
Right, but get in a little bit more. Stop.
Out here.
Yeah, yeah. Well, no, I wanted you close, but I want to also see the well and everything.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now, when you start explaining it, now I will. Okay, I would like to introduce Bill McNamara, who is the artist who made this beautiful mural, which hangs at the Senior Center in the Murray wing. Everyone should come and see it. It's beautiful. All right.
Well, I'd like to introduce. This is a wind farm that's where I used to work when I was from about 7 years old till I was probably in my 20s, because there was no other place to work around now unless you wanted to go to Woburn to some leather company. But I like farming, and I like this property, and it wasn't too far. It's probably a quarter of a mile from where I lived. I lived up on this end of the where the picture is. And I'll start probably from this end of the picture, because this here is a well house that they didn't have street water like we do in Burlington now. They had pumps here that had to pump the water to the house, and from the house up to the barn. And so this little house, that's what that place is. And this here is well, all this is farmland. There must have probably been about maybe 50 acres of land there that he farmed there, and I helped him with it. And this is the main. Let me see. This is the main house. I have to stop and think, because that looks just like it, but I'll tell you about that house later. This is their house that they live. Mrs. Martha Wynn and her family, John Wynn and Martha, was the single daughter that they had. But it was a nice house. It's I don't think there's any more of it left now. It's been sold to houses, and this whole place is all but the barn, I think, is left on Mountain Road. There's probably, I bet there's maybe 70 or 80 houses planted in this whole area. This is Fred and Dick. I can always remember Fred and Dick, the horses that they used to plow all the ground. He's out there now plowing. And there's two maple trees, and a big rock here. And this was where the chicken coop we had for the chickens. You can see a few of them there. And this was like a shed for all the farm equipment. And this part up here is well, this here was the shed in between the house and the barn. This is where they had other farm equipment all underneath this. It's on the other side, though, not on this part here. But you have to come in from the other side, this Mountain Road side. And they had chickens here, and this was a place where they stored wood for the. They didn't have hardly any. They never had anything like we do, like oil heat or anything like that. It was all wood that we cut up in the forest way up and back, and took it down here and used it for the heat for the. They might have had a little coal stove, some using coal, but it's very little wood that you had, except for heat here. All this part here is. Let me see where we are now. This is the house here. This is the shed in between the. This was right almost in between the barn and the house, the living place. This here was just down the street was the joint of the Willis Hunt. Willis Hunt lived there. He stayed there for maybe 15 years, but then they moved out of there. They went to I believe it was the Somerville. And let's see what else we got here. This is part of the Hunt property here. Now this the north distant places, probably the further end of Burlington, maybe some of even Woburn. This is right near the Woburn line. Part of it was right on the Woburn line. The rest of this here, this is part of the whole barn and all the, you can see cows here. There's only a couple there, but we probably used, we probably had about 10 cows as a rule. So we had to milk every day, and got some horses here too. There's a horse there. But this was all land, land for the cows to feed on. And sometimes we had them over this other side. We had a fence up and back here. We got opened up and they can go on this other side and back. See like those over there in that corner. And this here is the barn, and the underneath we used to keep a lot of the, like a hay mower and the cutter and anything that we didn't use too often. We used to store them in back in here, and then when we wanted them, we just went in and took them out. Let's see, this was the entrance to the main barn, except that's a different, I didn't call that an entrance. This is an entrance, walking entrance. See where these whole things go. This is where all the cows inside, not, you can't see it from here, but all the cows were in the stalls for this whole length of the building. We probably had about, maybe 15 to 20 cows at one time, and it took quite a while to, we had to milk them every day. We didn't always have 20, but we had different time. We had like heifers and a bull, a calf, a cow, like that didn't have to be milked. But this was mostly for the horses. I think we had Stick and Fred and Jerry, and there was a cow and the 2 cows, and we always had enough so that we could get probably 5 gallons of milk every day from all the cows, and that was a good bit of milk from all the cows. We'd like to get over there now. Well, the rest, let me see, this here is part of Mountain Road here. This area here, and we come right through from our own property right onto Mountain Road, and most of these cows on this side, mostly the cows that weren't old enough to be given milk, or they are over, well, I don't know, out, whatever you call them. We just didn't have them for the milk anymore, but we still kept them because some of them had little calves. You can see the little calves there. So to enlarge the family of cows, we had this big part here. And you can't see it all, but all this part down here is all big farmland. There was probably, I think, between both sides of the street, on the farming area, there was about, I would say, 50 acres. But there was another on the other side of the street, which would be like up here. On that side of the street, there would be, I think even more than 50. They might have been 75 acres, but all it was used for was cutting wood in the wintertime, and even if you see once in a while, if they wanted a big pine tree, like for lumber, they'd have somebody come up and cut it to the tree and cut the tree up in lumber size. And I don't know much about what else I can tell you. The whole wind farm, I think, covered 100 and I think it was 10 acres. 100, and that's a lot of acres. There was about 50 acres or so on each side of the street. This is the, well, I don't know what they call it, the living quarter part of this. But over on this other side was all the farmland where we raised squash and carrots and beets and beans and just about any kind of vegetable we could think of. And we had to take when we picked any of the beans or any kind of fruit, we had to take them down to another farmer down, say down that further in there, way down past that last building there. He down in the Woburn, and he used to take all the vegetables and fruits and everything that we had put up. He took them to Boston and to Charlestown, where they had a selling place for buying and selling place for fruit and vegetables, and I guess even the cow or two, as far as that goes. But I don't know what else I can tell you about it. It's there's none of the property left at this time. I think it's all the property is just gone, and they're probably I would say over all the whole place, I would say there's almost 100 houses on each. Because most, see this up and back here, a lot of that stayed that way with all the pine trees. That's all this area here that you see as plants, that was all farmland, and it ran the whole length of the picture over there to the Ray Farm. And Ray Farm was another big farm there that probably covered. I used to work even on the Ray Farm once in a while if he was caught shot with help. But he was a big farm too, and this whole area all the way from Mountain Road right out to Cambridge Street is, well, these houses about every legal place that you can have with 100-foot frontage in them.
I would like to ask you how you got started on this mural.
Well, I guess that I forget who was who the head of the council on aging was at the time. I shouldn't. I ought to be. I got to excuse myself for not thinking who it was. But when they started, I think it was Elmer Morrison, come to think of it, and Mrs. Morrison. We were up to the other place before we got this place. We up to the center, up near the school up there. In fact, it was the basement of the old Union School. That's where we came from there down to here. And somebody knew I had an art class, and I knew they figured, well, maybe you could find some way to decorate this wall. It's a little dreary, so I said, well, I'll see what I can do. And he says, do you think you'd mind a big farm scene? They said, no, as long as it's nice and colorful. That's the main thing. They wanted to decorate this wall, so they. So well, this is their main house. Well, I guess I told you that they lived here. They had an apartment here for any. They used to have some help that they used to stay in that section there if they had a lot of work and overdone when there wasn't enough regular help there. So they used to get.
I wonder if you could tell me how you even got started as an artist.
Well, that's a good question. Well, I think I probably just wanted at home, like when I was maybe even 10 years old or something. I used to just sketch and use a paintbrush and a small brush and make little things. So my father and mother, they got together, and for Christmas they got me a set of. For Christmas, they got me a set of paints, and so I just kind of naturally go into. I used to like it really, and then I used to. In fact, I even went to Woburn for the Woburn Guild of Artists for their school. They had every week. I think once a month they had a meeting, and, but they'd always have a demonstrator, and they were interesting, and I kind of caught on. I guess it was kind of inside of me that I could paint, because I remember painting for a long, long time, maybe from the time I was 8 years old till I went through school, grammar school, took art up. Then I went to high school and took art up. And I had taken a study course from art besides, through the mail. Well,
You also taught the seniors, didn't you?
Oh, yes, I did, yeah. I did have I had an art class for the seniors up to the old Union School where we were first before we came here. And then when they moved here, somebody, I guess, I don't know, it was Elmer Morrison, asked me if I could teach an art class. And I says, well, we'll give it a shot anyway. So, but this is part of what I learned. I mean, and it looks pretty good to me, even though I pat myself on my back a little bit.
Well, I want to thank you so much for being our guest. It was wonderful.
Well, I really enjoyed it. I mean, and it does decorate the place anyway. You know, it kind of finishes off this wall anyway. Like I say, I thank you for asking me, and I enjoy it. I hope everybody else does too.
Thank you.
Okay.
It's beautiful. That was perfect. White and sharp. I could hear it through the whole thing. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi,
What are you going to do?
dance class.